Clayton, I know you guys always have the next man up mentality and you got to be ready, but as a coordinator, just how difficult is it to go through weeks where you got 5 guys out one week and then you lose 3 more the next, and going into this week, every one of them's got a question mark beside them?
I mean, obviously, like I said last time, I feel for the kids more personally than I do, for us. I mean, I feel like the next man up mentality is what you want to preach in your locker room, and find ways to instill confidence in the guys that are playing, and it's the reason why they're here. But more importantly, I like to make sure that we're good on the players who are out, especially the ones that are out long term, just in their mental state.
Hey, Clayton. Gilbert was in here yesterday talking a little bit about his transition from wide receiver in high school to the defensive line. What has his kind of growth looked like from when you guys, first started working with him to where he's at as a starter now?
Yep. Gilbert comes from an area that produces a ton of athletes, which is out in the Space Coast. He's a tall, athletic dude who can really run, who last year there was a debate on who's the fastest edge guy on our team. Was it him or was it Burch? Or was it JJ? Obviously, everyone voted that it was Gilbert, so I'm not surprised at his emergence, just how he's out here playing. He's able to compete at this level. Just where he's from and his makeup and his background, and just produces athletes. So he's just one of the few from his area.
How you doing, Clayton? Yesterday we heard from Gilbert Edmond and Zach Pickens about some communication issues on defense. Shane talked about that too on the long touchdown to Bowers. They mentioned trying to be more verbal in practice. How is that going, and how do you kind of correct communication issues with so many new players on the defense right now?
Yep. Right now, I just have to do a great job of setting up those situations to where those guys are put in the situation to over-communicate at practice. So on game day, it's not, oh, shucks, we should have said this or we should have done this. But right now, we're just trying our best to just continue, putting the ball down and trying to go out to every practice every single day and treat it like a game. So when those guys are out there, the experience is kind of, doubling up for them. And I'm excited. It is fun watching those guys play, but obviously you want to keep it clean as possible.
Clayton, obviously stopping the run is something we talked about. It feels like forever now. But just what, from a schematic standpoint, can you do to make sure guys are fitting the right gaps and you're getting to the point where you're consistently being able to stop that run?
I mean, right now is, it's definitely been a difficult thing. But I feel like last week, running backs each had 30 yards. So we feel like we did improve in that area. So there were some areas that we did improve on. But obviously the quarterback run for like 60. They had a couple of reverses. And then, we missed a sack here and there. But we feel like there was a small improvement. It don't show on paper, but when we watch the tape, we see things that were improving. We see things that we can get better at.
When you're just trying to figure out who's available, I mean, how challenging is it to get guys enough reps and to feel like you can at least just be comfortable with everybody's preparation and all that?
I think the thing that makes it really difficult is the amount of reps that you can only replicate at practice at a certain speed and rate and competition. So I think those guys, sometimes they get in the game and things happen a lot faster than it does at practice. And obviously the stakes are higher in the game. But I think right now we're just trying to feed as much as we can to those young guys and to all of our players just to one, line better, get your eyes in the right spot, get your cleats in the ground. Obviously when it's time to make a tackle, we have to take great angles and wrap up and squeeze and play team defense. Obviously right now we want to continue to improve all those things.
Any of those areas that you just named, lineman assignment, whatever, is there anything that's been consistent across the first 3 weeks that you feel like has been good and at the same time that maybe not so good?
I would say the effort at times, our guys continue to play hard. I feel like, obviously I don't think we missed as many tackles. The first game we missed a ton. The second game we only missed 11 last week. Obviously when you miss 11 against certain competition, those can go for huge plays. But I want us to continue just to improve it day by day. It's all about our full body of work. We're never judged on 1 or 2 weeks. You may be judged by certain people, but at the end of the thing, we want to continue to improve every day at practice, more importantly than we do, because when the games come, we feel like it should show up. We're just going to keep grinding at practice right now. That's what it's all about. Meetings, practice, extra meetings, film, review, notes, text messages, PDFs, whatever it takes, we're getting it done.
Clayton, on the personnel side of things, trying to just get guys healthy and have enough guys to fill out a secondary and everything that comes with that. I mean, how much are you guys having to play the game of like, this guy maybe was going to redshirt, but now we might need to use him and using all 4 games that he might have? I mean, how much of that is just kind of a sliding scale throughout a year, especially when you got some injuries and things like that?
I think really when those guys first come in, we never say the word redshirt. Obviously, as camp kind of progresses after about 2 or 3 weeks, we say, okay, I can see this guy playing for 4 games and not burning his red shirt. I can see this guy helping us on special teams, but you can never predict the amount of injuries that a team may get. You may have none, you may have a ton. So we just try to keep guys developing, keep our practice in a very competitive mode so we can continue to evaluate every single day so we'll know exactly who to put in.
Coach Beamer kind of lamented the fact after the Georgia game about not being able to force enough turnovers. I think 1 through the first 3 games. What do you guys have to do to kind of swing that and get that turnover margin closer to where you want it to be?
Yeah, we have one takeaway. We have multiple turnovers on downs, but obviously we're trying to get the ball back in a momentum fashion. We want to get interceptions and fumbles and scoops, and those things are fun. That makes it more fun. Obviously, when you're out there, one, you got to be in the right place. All right, at this level, no one's going to just toss you the football or lay the ball on the ground for you to go pick up. We need to be in the right spot more. So that's being honest. Obviously, those will come, but we have to keep harping at that practice. You have to be in the right spot.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to ask, what have you seen from Nick Emmanwory, just kind of his work ethic and what you've seen from him in practice that allowed him to be so great on Saturday?
A lot of times when you see freshmen with that kind of talent at that rate, it's a mental makeup that also comes with the physical makeup. So to me, we've seen athletes before that can run and jump just as fast as Nick, but it's the mental makeup that he brings from his background with his high school, at Emmanwory High School with Coach Brand and whoever taught him before that, but in his family background and just his overall story, his mental makeup is really the part that's really making him have a lot of success right now.
Coach, regarding the injuries, what kind of involvement do the guys still have while recovering, whether it be in the locker room or on the sidelines during games and just kind of things like that? 'Cause they don't seem like the types that would just kind of fade away. So just how are they still involved?
Right now, the guys who are in the short-term injuries, those guys are heavily involved. The long-term injury guys are kind of, it's a little too soon kind of mindset to come right back. But we are trying to keep them involved in team meetings and meals and weight room and obviously the athletic training room. Right now, football-wise, they've kind of taken a slight step back, which I guess we can understand it. Just whatever's the best for their mental state being right now is the most important thing. And some of those guys just being around football, some of those guys are taking time away. But to me personally, the mental state is the most important.
Did any of those injured guys in the secondary practice today?
I don't know if I'm allowed to answer that, to be honest with you, but they're working, they're trying, they're hopeful. Well, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you want to ask Coach Beamer that question. I'm not.
All right. How has Jordan Burch played?
Jordan Burch is in a position where, obviously there was a time at the second quarter of the Arkansas game where you kind of like, okay, you felt him from the sideline. It was like, oh, they passing it? Oh, he's back there again. He's back there again. But to me, it's just a match. These are the most reps he's ever taken. So it's exciting to see him out there. And I think Coach Lucas is picking something out every single day that he wants Jordan Burch to work on. And today it was, be more dominant on the edge in the run game. And I just watched 10 clips, and I can see him improving. So he's the kind of guy that you tell him exactly what you want. He has the right mindset and makeup to go work on that exact thing. And I think, obviously, his best football is ahead of him. But I'm glad he's out there playing.
And with having so many young guys, especially at one position in the secondary, how much does that prevent you from calling things that you want to call being more exotic, for lack of a better word? How much does it handicap you a little bit as a play caller?
I mean, I'm not going to say that it handicaps them, but, you have to be smart. You have to make sure that you are not putting those kids in bad situations that try to do something that may confuse them, that may go left when they should go right. And that's the same thing with your veteran players as well. So you have to also think about how you're doing things. So obviously that's going to multiply when you have a younger player. So you want to give them, you don't want to confuse them. They haven't been out there that much. The experience is not there. And they're playing, different multiple, one day he may play the boundary safety, he may have to play the strong safety because someone may be out because of an injury. So you're just trying to be really smart on how you get that done.
I think I noticed maybe a couple plays that were talking lined up outside last week. Is that something, just given the circumstances out there, that and his background a little bit, that y'all might have to have him expand?
Good job of paying attention. Hell, I like that, man. But yes, obviously with our situation, I think it was one of those things where Tonka probably in his younger days probably played on edge. I mean, he's a really good athlete. So he was excited to have one of his shoulders freed up to play the outside edge position, but he was excited about it. He did a good job. I mean, he helps us, so we're going to use him more at that position based on our situation and the depth in that room.
Clayton, I think it was Zach yesterday, was talking about how big an impact Jalen Dickerson and Jalen Foster have had on Nick Emmanwory over the last few months, I guess now. I guess what has it been like having those guys around the program, and I guess how much of an impact have those guys had on some of those younger defensive backs like Nick or Kwan or whoever else, some of those guys that are having to play a lot right now?
It's pretty cool having those guys in a room. I don't think they understood the work and how coaches act off the field, so I think that's fun. I don't have to watch what I say around them anymore. So they're one of us. And Jalen Dickerson, we go way back to high school. So it's every time I look at him, I think about when I tried to go recruit him at Pinecrest High School in his junior year, he wouldn't come to NC State. But now I see why. This place is nice. So I keep reminiscing on that, I think it is nice for those guys to have some. I mean, Nick's probably 18. Those guys are probably 22, 23. They've been through it. Got someone you can go to besides a coach who can speak their language and just spit it out a little bit smoother than us older guys.
I think TJ Sanders played probably the most snaps of his career against Georgia. Just what have you seen from him, and just where's your confidence level in that interior group given the fact that it is banged up a little bit right now?
I mean, the confidence level is going to stay there as individuals. I mean, those guys work hard. Those guys get after it. And they're a tight-knit group, and they want it more than anyone. So we're just going to keep grinding every single day and wait on the full body of work. TJ's athletic, long. He understands football, really smart. I heard today that he was one of our best basketball players on the team who once scored 55 points. I don't know if that's true, but I was very shocked by that. So I like him as an athlete, and I think he was so raw coming in. It's kind of like putting a guy in a new position. So Coach Lindsey, everything he's taught him has been just nice because it's so natural, and he's first time learning it, so it's pretty smooth watching him be a technician.
Coach Beamer was in here yesterday kind of talking about some guys have to step up now. There's not a lot of time to wait. We're already a quarter of the way through a short season. How do you balance that urgency versus still trying to stay patient and bring guys along, especially as games are coming so fast now every week?
How do we battle? So I think the most important thing is you have to just get their attention on the urgency. And, just because you have time does not mean you're going to improve. If I'm trying to lose 20 pounds and I don't change what I'm doing, I'm not going to lose 20 pounds. So during that time of improvement, we have to do things that's gonna affect the long term. So every single day, we're just trying to chop wood and just make sure that we are doing something that's going to affect the end result. And that's us playing better defense, team defense. And if our team needs us in the fourth quarter, we got to be able to step up and stop the run when it counts. Right now, we can't worry about the stats. We need to stop the run when it counts and get off the field when it counts. Appreciate you guys. Take care. Yep.